You know, now that I'm back, I just figured I'd make a follow-up video because every once in a while I forget what I was trying to do originally with the Suck My NASDAQ program. And I think I've told you the story of how it all began. I was trading well before the internet bubble, during the internet bubble, and when I was making money. And regardless of what I did, a stock would always go the direction that I wanted it to go into after I got out. It was a lot more fun when I was making a couple of $1,000s a day, and then I would get out of the stock, and I would tell people to get into it on an instant message, just using AOL. Just, here, I'm selling out of the stock, buy it now, by the end of the day it'll probably be up 2 points. And when the internet came around, I was talking about stocks that, there was a time where I think I told you about that eBay trade. I made 7 points on the trade. I think I made about 80 grand that day trading stocks, and at the end of the day I would have made $1 million. $1 million. The stock went up 45 points after I got out, and Suck My NASDAQ was born. Of course, the NASDAQ wanted their name back, so I had to change the name to hit the bid, and here we are today. Now, I forget sometimes. Sometimes I just try to be funny. I don't even talk about the stock market. Sometimes I just want to talk about sports gambling. You know, when I was in college, I had a girlfriend that thought I had a problem. She said, you know, you gamble too much. All you do is you're consumed by it. You're talking about spreads, and all you do on Sunday is talk about that, and you get into a bad mood even when you win money. But you know what? The bottom line is, I've been gambling since I was 12, when I was friends with this guy in the neighborhood, one of the boys in the neighborhood who was one of the bookies, and I would do sheets with the kids in school, and I was running numbers for the guy, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. It was always fun. But the bottom line is, since I've been gambling, it's been 25 years, I still believe that I'm up for 25 years. So is it a problem if you're making money? I haven't paid a bookie, basically, for a year. I mean, every once in a while I have to pay because I owe some money, but by the end of the year, I'm up money. So is it a problem if you're winning money? Like, I know. And all I do right now is I stick to the program. It's the Jets, the Giants, the Mets, and the Yankees. Sometimes some college basketball. But I know when the Yankees are going to lose. I know when the Mets are going to lose. I know for sure when the Jets are going to lose. It's just classic example is when they give you some glimpse of hope. When they make you believe that they're going to be a real team, that's when you bet against them, a la the Denver game, a la the San Francisco game. And did you think, oh man, when they made the 9-point favorite against the Bills, who they had already beaten this year, did you think? Now, I would have won a lot of money because I had the money line plus 320. If you don't know what that means, for every $100 you laid out, you could have won $320. It would have been a really nice payday for me if they would have lost the game. But getting 9 points with the Bills, it was like a sure thing. And the only reason the Jets didn't lose that game was a gift fumble there at the end of the day. So I ask again, is it a problem if you're winning money? I don't think so. And did you think the Giants peaked? That's it, my friends. If you're a Giant fan, you got to just hope now that they could just win the opening round of the playoffs. Because that's going to be the toughest game for them. You know they're going to lose to Carolina. You know it. They peaked at the wrong time. They got all the problems. And everyone's like, oh, you don't have to worry about those Plaxico problems. You don't have to worry about that. Think about it in reality. Would you be distracted? Yes. You're not a professional athlete, but just think about it. If you're trying to do something and in the back of your head you got all this distraction, you're thinking about stuff, it's gonna be there and you're distracted. Then the doubt starts to creep in. You lost to Philadelphia. Now you're playing Dallas. And again, if you're a gambler, you know it's very difficult for one team to beat the same team twice, a division rival in the same year. So it's simple as that. Sports gambling right now makes a lot more sense with the stock market. Because the stock market can convince you 5 minutes you're right, next 2 minutes you're wrong, and 10 minutes you're right, it's not worth it. At least it's one game, one or two games for the week, you're right or you're wrong, and you move on and see what happens next week. This is just a fucking torture. How could you just sit here? This is just despicable. But the bottom line is, what I was getting to is why this whole thing got started. I wanted to prove a point. I wanted to prove a point that recently we're at 100%. I'm 100% wrong, and the trades that I do make money on, 100% of the time they've been going the other way. So what I was saying was, this morning, my first trade of the day, after I got in, and great thing to have Monday morning, they put salt in my coffee instead of sugar. That was awesome. So I missed the open. I missed the nice fade that we have. So I was already pissed off. So I was looking for stocks that hadn't gone negative yet. I'm looking at JRCC. JRCC. Stock's at 1420. Boom. I get 400 done at 14.18. I didn't really like the fact that I missed the top of it. Then I shorted at 14. Next thing you know, I put a bid out at 13.77 because it went to 13.80. So I put it right under 3 cents below. Boom, boom, boom. I got hit. Got into the chat room. I just covered my JRCC at 13.77. And somebody said, nice trade, Krull. Nice trade. You covered there at the low. And I laughed to myself and I said, here we are. Here we are. A classic example of what my life has come to. What my life has always been and what it will continue to be, and that's why I continue to do this show to prove a fucking point. I told you to get short the JRCC at 13.90 because knowing you have to embrace the horror that every trade that I do will continue to go the direction that I just was in, and that if I make money, it should be worth 10 times more. So what did I make? What did I make? I was short collectively at $14.15, covered at $13.77 for a small amount of money. Made like $140 in the trade. I only had 400 shares. But I knew, as soon as that person said that, I laughed. I said, do you think that I'm actually going to be the low of the day on a trade? That I was actually in that direction? Granted, I will be the low of the day when I sell long at the low of the day. Then it'll spike back up. But this was a short, mind you. You thought I was going to cover at the low of the day and that was going to be it? Oh, the stock was going to stay strong for the rest of the day? The stock is now trading at 13.01. 13.01. So I made about 14 cents. And if you would have got short at 13.90, you would have made 90 cents. That's it. You don't need to know about the stock market. You don't need to know about the economy, the oncoming new president, the revolution, the apocalypse, what's going on, capitalism, socialism, nothing. You need to know, embrace the fucking horror, press the goddamn button when I tell you, and you make 90 cents today. And percentage-wise, that's pretty fucking great. Percentage-wise, that's pretty fucking great. Now it's breaking 13. That's what it's all about, my friends. That's what it's all about. Embrace the horror. Because eventually, when I do fade off, but it's going to end. Not that the nonsense that goes on in my trading career is going to end, because that'll go on forever. But I'm going to have to stop at one point. Because I've been looking for a new job. I can't find a job. But eventually when I do, even if it's fucking Dwayne Reed, Dairy Queen, or Spencer Gifts, I'll just hang out in the back room with the black lights, smoking weed and putting on strobe lights, hanging out with these children. I was in there. I was like, yeah, dude, you got a job for me? No, I go, they already hired. He didn't even think I was serious. I'm like, no, bro. I want to sell black light posters and strobe lights for the rest of my life. That's what I want to do. I want to hang out with you, goth kids, smoking weed in the back. That's what I want to do. Yeah. Great aspirations I have, right? Then we had the HIG, the HIG. Loving the stock, been trading it well. Not extraordinary, just making my 20 cents here, 20 cents there. HIG. The stock had hit 13.75. So I was like, this stock hardly has stayed red for any consistent amount of time during the day since that pop, and there's an like underlying bid to it. So I say, let's pick up some here at 13.80. 13.80, whoa. I'm offered it out at the whole number at 14. 14. Got out at 14. What did I tell you to do? Get in right now. Get in right now, 14. What happened? The stock spiked to 14.45. So again, I made 20 cents. You could make 40 cents. No matter what I do, you're going to make twice as much as I do. Every time. Every time. It's fantastic. How does he do it? What does he do? Does he read charts? What does he do? No. It's all about a curse. And the only way I can let this and make any sense out of it is to just exploit me. Use me. Beat the fucking shit out of me. Exploit me for the goddamn loser that I am. Whatever this is. Whatever this is that I've been going through since I started this sordid career, I shouldn't even be here. That's the point. I was working for Saturday Night Live. I was in the record industry at one point. And next thing you know, well, you use your sense of humor to sell stocks. So, hey, Mr. Jones, how are you? I got a great stock for you. Yeah, it's fantastic. Now, why don't you just give me a shot and say buy 2,000 shares? We'll try to start the relationship small so then I can work for you in the future. That was me. That was me. And suddenly, I just got stuck in this industry because once I realized how much of a corrupt, disgusting business being a stockbroker was, and then SOS came around, I said, let me go and do it for myself. I know a little bit about the stock market and how things work. Let me try to make some money. And it worked out well for 4 or 5 years. But now, I'm stuck here, and I have no idea what I want to do, and the only fucking way out right now is to continue to do this show until somebody says, you know that lunatic Krull? Let's give him a show. Let's see what he could do. He makes little funny videos. He can put together 22 minutes. We'll throw some commercials in there. Maybe put a band or a stand-up comedy, and I'll have a show. All I want is a half an hour. I could get a half an hour show at least once a week. And if you give me a crew of some people, here's what I want to do. I got 5 minutes left, 5 seconds left. Send some emails so I have some fodder. Let's talk. Let's communicate. Send me some emails. We'll talk about some stuff. Send me emails, questions, anecdotes, whatever. I'll get back to you on the next show. All right, let's see. Interactive Crow.